To defend a racing line. He stays nice and tight, comes out with a good run, but look, he's really being hampered. Hand out to the cockpit, he knows he's in trouble. Hindley powers past, so does Guglielmi. Short's got no acceleration at all. Jordan comes past him too. Martin Short, slow puncture, pretty certain he has, but he's also got a major drag problem. Tyre rubbing heavily on the body there. Sutcliffe and Campbell-Walter about to go past him, and McKellar under pressure for the lead. Michael Caine squeezes through the inside at Tower Bend. He just gets through, but he does get through. So Michael Caine now leads. Well, Ian McKellar in second place won't take that lying down. You can be sure that this will be a race for the flag. And already he's coming back at him. Caine with McKellar right up underneath the rear bodywork. Third is Hindley, fourth is Guglielmi, fifth is Jordan, and then Sutcliffe goes past finally Martin Short, so too does Jamie Campbell-Walter, but Ian McKellar comes back again. Great stuff into the S-bend. Michael Caine back into second, put firmly in his place by Ian McKellar. And Martin Short, well, he doesn't get any drive at all out of the hairpin, but around the rest of the lap, he's not too bad. Hand out to the cockpit there. Steve Sutcliffe thinking about a move on Jamie Campbell-Walter, just saw the yellow flags in time, signalling that he was not going to go for the move, and to warn Martin Short about it. Now then, the battle for the lead becoming a four-way one. Mike Jordan in 77 needs to catch them up a little bit, make that a five-way contest. McKellar leads Caine, leads Hindley, leads Guglielmi. Jordan a little bit behind him in fifth place. Michael Caine not doing much chasing now, but rather more being caught by Phil Hindley, and Hindley in his own turn being caught by Guglielmi. So this all helps Ian McKellar. He has about a car's length over Michael Caine, maybe two, not much more though. But the more Caine is pressed from behind, the less chance he has of making a move on McKellar, and that all plays into the leader's hands. Again out of the hairpin. Ian McKellar needs to get good drive, and he does. Guglielmi having a think about trying something with Phil Hindley. Will he be alongside over the line? No, Hindley's still ahead. I don't think there's a chance for an overtaking move there for Guglielmi. Hindley defending too well, but it does mean that Hindley has to pay attention to Guglielmi, and for a moment at least drops back from Caine. McKellar skips over the curbs. Caine second, Hindley third. The black nose, the white rear of his car. And towards us they come. The checkered flag on the nose of McKellar's car, so distinctive. Always easy to pick him out in the crowd. Number one, the reigning champion, Phil Hindley. Beats Bobby Verdenroe to the 98 title. Verdenroe the 97 TVR Tuscan Challenge champion. Riding again with Ben Samuelson. Little red light there indicating the need for a gear change when maximum revs are attained. And the AJP V8 in these TVR Tuscans. Good move, Ben, down the inside into Tower. Nicely executed. See, he drives a good race as well as talks one. Oh dear, he didn't type in the line about losing it on the exit there quite accurately enough. Now, Steve Guglielmi in the number 6 machine right on the tail of Phil Hindley and looking to make a move under braking. Oh, I think he's hit him. I think he did. I think Guglielmi got a little bit deeper into the braking area than Phil Hindley, and because Hindley was directly ahead of him, tapped him up the back. They both got very locked up at the front end, and the position has changed. Guglielmi's up into third, Hindley down to fourth place. Well, that last lap drama there at Tower, and I think Hindley will now be stuck in fourth. He's all over the back of Guglielmi, and Jamie Campbell-Walter has gone past the 77 car of Mike Jordan. Last lap dramas for Ben Samuelson as well. Samuelson took a position there and loses it again on the final lap. Oh dear, and it's all going horribly, horribly skew-whiff there for Ben. Trying to stay out of everybody's way. He's not really racing for championship points, just for the enjoyment of it. Doesn't want to be taking anybody else off. Out of the turn for the last time then. It's Ian McKellar to the line in first, so he gets the win from Michael Caine. Guglielmi third, and just fourth place at the line for Phil Hindley from Jamie Campbell-Walter. Well, Ian McKellar had to fight for that one, but he should be justifiably delighted with that victory as a result. McKellar by a fraction from Caine, Guglielmi in third place, and McKellar still the leader of the series. TVR Tuscans rolling out in beautiful sunshine conditions at Brands Hatch. Round 6 of the TVR Tuscan Challenge on the full Grand Prix circuit. The field headed by Michael Caine. Alongside him, Ian McKellar, just 0.3 of a second slower on a lap that takes them 1.5 minutes. This full 2.63 mile circuit. Phil Hindley, the reigning champion, the black nose on his car, lining up behind the pole position man, and the all-white car with the red sign writing. That's number 6, Steve Guglielmi. Well, beautiful conditions for driving and for watching sports cars here at Brands Hatch. Richard Finney starts 23rd of the 38 cars on this monster grid. Gets a good launch as the front row get away. Oh, there could be carnage behind. There's trouble. Somebody's in the barriers on the inside. Looks as though that might have been around the vicinity of Steve Hyde's position on the grid. Jamie Campbell-Walter behind Steve Sutcliffe. Goes around the outside of the reigning champion at Druids. Hindley comes back under acceleration, tucks in ahead of Campbell-Walter. Campbell-Walter is in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th place. Gets a bump from Steve Sutcliffe and continues through Graham Hill Bend. Ian McKellar leads from Michael Caine, Steve Guglielmi, Martin Short in 4th, ahead of Mike Jordan in 5th place. Well, those two have started very well indeed from the 3rd and 4th rows of the grid respectively. Steve Sutcliffe dropped down the order a little in that collision with Jamie Campbell-Walter, lost at least 3 places. Riding with Richard Finney, the Porsche 944 turbo driver, chasing Giles Cooper, who started 6 places ahead of him on the grid. So a great start there from Richard Finney. Field streaming around the Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit now. This is Derek Minter Straight. They go through Westfield and then climb Dingledell up to the Dingledell chicane. Impressive flying over the curbs exercise this. You can't see your way out as you go in. You have to know where you're headed for. These guys all do. McKellar from Caine, then Guglielmi from Short. That's the top 4 right behind. This battle, we've got the reigning champion is behind Mike Jordan. Now he's going around to the outside as McKellar guards the inside. Headlights ablaze on the black nose of the number 1 machine, Phil Hindley. Jamie Campbell-Walter dropping back a little behind them. There is the black and yellow Hawthorns car. And right behind him, Troy Dunlop battling away. Again with Richard Finney into Druids. There he is, the 2nd car in the shot. Through goes the 34 car, that's Matt Doman in the middle of the group there. Oh my goodness me. James Patterson gets it wrong under braking in number 87 and successfully around the outsides just goes Gary Britnell. Patterson now doing the 3-point driving special to get himself back into the race, and I think that is stone last. Replay of the start then, courtesy of Jamie Campbell-Walter. He goes down the pit wall. Ooh, Steve Sutcliffe right across his nose, and it was Ian Flux in the wall. Ian Flux goes straight into the barriers on the inside. Well, thought it might have been Steve Hyde, but in fact Ian Flux a couple of rows ahead of him on that side of the grid, out of the race even before it had started effectively. McKellar then from Caine, Guglielmi, Short, Jordan, Hindley, and just about in touch with this lead group, Jamie Campbell-Walter. Let's ride with him now, out of Stirling's, and then running down under the bridge, and into Clark Curve he goes. 48 there, Ian Ashley. Matt Doman and Grant Tromans chasing him. He's already been passed, though, by Richard Finney. Finney ahead as they come onto the straight. Like so many of the corners and areas at Brands Hatch named after famous British racing drivers of the 60s. Druids, not the most famous of British racing driver names, I grant you, but it's probably the exception that proves the rule. Martin Short here, the green Mole Valley Motorco car, under pressure from Mike Jordan. And just ahead of him, a big lock-up as well from Steve Guglielmi. Guglielmi under pressure. Jamie Campbell-Walter riding here as... Oh, Jordan locks up, nearly hits Short in the behind. And he's got Phil Hindley right with him. Jamie Campbell-Walter's got a great view as they run on the approach into Hawthorn Bend. Short on the inside, Jordan on the outside. Oh, contact! Oh, and my goodness me, Phil Hindley goes over the top of Martin Short as Short gets sideways. And Jordan gets even more sideways across his nose. The 3 of them swap positions. Hindley with flapping front bodywork is ahead now of Short with flapping rear bodywork, and Jordan is in trouble. He's pulling off. I think he is terminally wounded here. Jamie Campbell-Walter passed all 3 of them. Mike Jordan may get back to the pits, but I don't think it'll do him too much good even if he does. TVR in big trouble there. Somebody else in big trouble, it seems, as we ride with Richard Finney. Reeds of tyre smoke coming off. Martin Short, the green car there. Looks as though he's heading for the pits. Indeed, he is. His race, I'm sure, is over. Yeah, Short's team running to meet him, but I don't know how much good it'll do. He pulls up, oh, bizarrely, behind Ian Flux's damaged car. Martin Short, well, I'll be surprised if he doesn't just bail out here and now. In comes the number 45 machine, Michael Caine's teammate. That's Julian Locke. Looks like he's got problems as well. Well, replay now from onboard Mike Jordan's car. Goes around the outside. Martin Short on the inside, gets spun across his nose. And the damage being done in the collision with Martin Short. Didn't quite see the spectacular shot there of the car going over the top of Short of Phil Hindley. Here we go from the outside again. Steve Guglielmi on the grass there. Jordan and Short side by side, almost room, but not quite enough as Jordan spins across Short's bows, slows him right down. And Hindley can't avoid Martin Short's green machine, rams the back of it, climbs all over the top of it. Yes, Phil Hindley, I think, will probably be in slight handling difficulties with that one as well. Never mind the fact that he's got the front bodywork ripping its way off the car. Into the pits comes Mike Jordan, and the green car of Martin Short is still there. There's Ian Flux, looking a bit disconsolate with nothing much to do. Here, though, is the race leader with plenty to do. Ian McKellar fighting off Michael Caine and Steve Guglielmi. Guglielmi showing the signs of damage on his car as well in his battle. Jamie Campbell-Walter now up to 4th place and chasing that group down. Here is the man he clashed with on lap 1, Steve Sutcliffe. That's 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th places, and all the rest there. We're riding with Richard Finney in that group, and I'm sure I saw the flapping bodywork of the reigning champion ahead of us. Matt Doman's picked up a puncture. One of many drivers, I'm sure, to run over debris at Hawthorne Bend last time. Yes, there is Phil Hindley in the middle of that group. And here is a battle coming up to Hawthorne's. Well, that one safely passed off with no damage done. Colin Blur in 5th. This is the battle for 6th. Steve Hyde and Steve Sutcliffe. Up into the Dingledale chicane they go. Oh, somebody's gone off. Riding with Richard Finney. Yellow flags are out. Yes, somebody definitely went off, and I think that was Colin Blower at the lead of that group. So the 5th place man has gone off heavily. It is the number 5 machine. Gone off heavily. Getting Dingledale wrong is never an easy thing to get out of, and Blower straight over the curbs into the barriers. Bang, big impact. Look how far back the car's been bounced, 12 feet or so back off the barriers. Race leader with his hand out of the cockpit, signifying that he's slowing down. He hasn't got a problem. He has seen these flags, the black and yellow quartered flag. It means assume a pace car situation. The marshals then obviously needing a bit of time to sort out that Colin Blur incident. And Jamie Campbell-Walter here is in 4th place. Ahead of him, Martin Short rejoined from the pits, a couple of laps down now, and Jamie trying to communicate, I think, that he would like him to get out of the way as soon as possible, please, when they go green. The marshals manhandling what's left of the TVR away. It won't roll, of course, if not all its wheels are attached. A replay of another incident about the same time. Heinz Schumann on the inside, Tom Combrink on the outside, just avoids the gravel traps at Paddock, and then gets on the power too soon. Heady with the success of not having crashed the first time, spins out at the bottom of the hill. Well, away they go, racing again as Colin Blower's remnants of his car have been cleared up. Jamie Campbell-Walter behind Martin Short, not part of this 4-way lead battle, but he will definitely hold Jamie Campbell-Walter up if he doesn't make his way out of this lead group soon. Short with nothing to gain, really, by being in the middle of this pack. And Jamie Campbell-Walter with everything to lose. And I imagine that his hang signals will become more and more agitated if he can't find a way past Martin Short once they get onto the Grand Prix loop. Short pointing to the inside, going, go on, if you're going to go, go. Jamie Campbell-Walter takes the indication at his word. Freewheeling out of Surtees, picking up the inside wheel as the cars squat down under power. The red light there on the dashboard indicating that Jamie's at maximum revs. Martin Short pulls off the Grand Prix loop, takes the shortcut and heads back to the pits. I'm sure he knows that the car is not really up to scratch now. Oh dear, Jeff Evans getting it wrong, exiting Surtees. Onto the grass he goes, and back onto the track. Oh my goodness, they're all coming up fast behind Jeff. Better watch your mirrors. Here is the race leader, though. Ian McKellar, Michael Caine, Steve Guglielmi and Jamie Campbell-Walter. They are your top four. And Steve Sutcliffe and Tim Hood in that order now in 5th and 6th positions. But as they come into Clark Curve for the final time, Ian McKellar leads Michael Caine. It's a drag race for the line. Can Michael Caine pull alongside him? He goes low, he has to go high. It's the long way round. No, by half a car's length. Ian McKellar wins from Michael Caine. Steve Guglielmi 3rd, Jamie Campbell-Walter 4th. Tim Hood in 6th place with Steve Sutcliffe just ahead of him. Great result for Michael Caine. That leapfrogs him into 2nd in the points behind McKellar. Mike Jordan claiming pole position for the first race of round 7 of the TVR Tuscan Challenge at Castle Combe. The race meeting sponsored by his own sponsors, so they must be very happy before the start here. Michael Caine qualified in 2nd place on the grid, 36 hundredths of a second behind him. And in 3rd place, it's the familiar green 88 car of Martin Short. Short was 2nd in his qualifying group, just 32 hundredths behind Mike Jordan, but Jordan's group lines down the right-hand side behind the pole man. Steve Sutcliffe, 2nd in the other group, lines up behind the man who was quickest in his qualifying session. That's Michael Caine. So the field qualifying in 2 groups of 19, all 38 cars, and that's a massive grid here, ready for the green lights, and away they go. Poor start from Michael Caine. He'll be swamped. Martin Short flies through the front row men, absolutely demolishes them. Sutcliffe right behind him, the 2 green men, and there's a contact in the middle of the field. That's Flux goes off. So too does Ian Ashley, the number 48 machine, but Ian Flux, former champion, smashed car. So too Ian Ashley. I think the 2 of them definitely out of the race there. Well, didn't see what triggered that off, but with this 38 car grid so close packed at Castle Combe, very small, very tight circuit for these monsters of the track. Martin Short leads. The car behind him is Ian McKellar, then Steve Sutcliffe, the green car, Phil Hindley, Michael Caine, Mike Jordan down in 6th place. What a dreadful start from the pole position man. Sure his sponsors won't be quite so pleased about that getaway. Hand out to the cockpit, waving furiously, is Peter Wheeler, the chairman of the company. Chairman of TVR, hand out to the cockpit now. Either he's got a problem, no, he's seen the red flags. So red flags, race has been stopped. Matt Doman bails out of the 34 car. Replay with Eugene O'Brien. Steve Hyde to the left of us as we get away from the line. Phil Hindley to the right, trying to go around John Kent, the purple car. Being leaned on by Steve Hyde, pushed into, that's Ian Flux going across the nose. Flux started alongside Eugene O'Brien. Well, it looks as though a rub from Steve Hyde into Eugene O'Brien in the middle of the picture here. There goes Flux across his nose. Hyde just clips him. Ashley goes off on the inside, and look at that, the yellow car there bouncing over the top of Matt Doman's purple machine was David Porter, right to the left-hand side of the picture there. So those 4, Flux, Ashley, Doman and Porter, won't take the restart. Well, away they go again. They hadn't officially started according to the red flag rules, and that's good news for Mike Jordan. But again, Martin Short goes down the inside of him. Will Jordan hold on to the lead this time? He went from 1st to 6th in the first 2 corners last time. Here's Steve Hyde. Looks like he's restarted from the back of the grid now as we go through Folly and up Avon Rise. Look how many cars he's just steaming past. He's well off the racing line, but at this stage it doesn't matter. This is like a video game. He's just driving around the outside of everybody. There's Peter Wheeler, the chairman, alongside him. Picks up a place there through Quarry. Very bold driving indeed. This time of asking, though, Mike Jordan does have the lead. Ian McKellar in 2nd, Martin Short in 3rd, Steve Sutcliffe in 4th place. Ian McKellar went from 5th on the grid to 2nd last time, 5th on the grid to 2nd this time as well. Really does have getting the 96 car underway fairly well sorted. Well, with that first corner shunt, or start line shunt I guess you should call it, taking 4 cars out of the field, slightly fewer for Steve Hyde to pass. Down into the chicane he comes. This one after Tower is called Bobby's. 2 new chicanes on the circuit here to try and reduce the straight line speed, especially of cars like these. Leaders streaming through, 34 tightly packed cars. James Patterson with a big slide coming out of Camp Corner, the final turn. Riding with Martin Short, there's Ian McKellar behind him. So Short has got past McKellar, and McKellar almost touching him there as they come into Quarry. Very close indeed. Mike Jordan will be running away from this group if he can, and he is being able to, as the squabble for 2nd place behind is 4 cars. There is Short, the green machine, with the yellow window frame. Behind him is McKellar, the checkered flag on the nose. Then Steve Sutcliffe just about to lose a place as Well, Martin Short isn't here, in fact, as they come out of Camp Corner. Sutcliffe got a very bad run through the second chicane. Martin Short, well, he just managed to hold off Ian McKellar there, but on the run up to Avon Rise, McKellar goes past into second place. So Short down to third. Let's have a look behind them, because I think there's been a change for fourth position. There has. There is the number one car, the reigning champion. Phil Hindley is in fourth. Steve Sutcliffe in fifth, and Sutcliffe having another look at him as Hindley decides to try and move on Martin Short there. Big slide from McKellar. He's holding them up. Martin Short is stuck behind him, and he's got Phil Hindley swarming all over the back of his machine. Well, McKellar got away with that one, but Short was very nearly under attack there from Hindley as a result. Second, third, fourth and fifth. There is Martin Short in third place. Looking back now, Phil Hindley under braking. Plenty of throttle on the way out. And then Steve Sutcliffe, the dark green car, holding on to the tail of this group as they rush down to the final turn, Camp Corner. And Hindley looks down the inside. Short close enough to the apex to defend against it. McKellar got inside him there. Let's see what Phil Hindley can do. Well, huge battles all the way down the order. Very brave man who makes a pass down the inside there as you come up to Avon Rise. Now riding again with the 10 car of Steve Hyde. Battling away, and again using the outside line. This is very much inventor passing manoeuvre here for Steve Hyde. And the 15 car just manages to stay tight on the inside. Giles Cooper avoids the contact as Steve Hyde went around the outside. And then Cooper cementing his place by chopping back in front of Hyde. Change for second place. Martin Short goes back past Ian McKellar. Well, that was a good move by Short. Went through into Tower and took the position. McKellar now back into third. Fourth is Hindley. There is McKellar in third place, and now trying to go him around the outside again for second. This time Short's on the inside, McKellar's on the outside. McKellar will lose out, and Hindley wants to capitalise. He's going to take a run down the inside into the right-hander at Folly. Oh, just a tiny rub. Now up to Avon Rise. This is a left-hander. And McKellar has the line into Quarry, the right-hander. Will Phil Hindley try something down the inside? Well, there's no way unless he's going to use all four wheels on the grass. McKellar desperately defending here. Sutcliffe, the green car, and right behind him is John Kent. So this is now a five-way battle. Martin Short taking a second stab at the corner there, but it didn't matter because right behind him the battle breaks loose. Mistake by McKellar, held up Hindley. Sutcliffe went through, he's going past them both. Sutcliffe gets past McKellar. Hindley with the headlights ablaze goes by him as well. A mistake by McKellar. Well, it looks like it. There he is. Oh, hand out to the cockpit. No, more than a mistake, I think. I think that is definitely a problem for McKellar. Riding with Eugene O'Brien through the chicane, you see McKellar's just gone straight on ahead of us. And that wasn't a brake problem. He's done that deliberately. He's driven off the track. So Ian McKellar out of the race with a mechanical problem. Yeah, absolutely certain. No way of continuing in that tightly fought contest at the front. He will now try and cruise round slowly back to the pits so that the car can be fixed for next time. Steve Hyde here, still in the thick of the action. Right ahead going round Phil Dyer, the 24 car, is Giles Cooper, the number 15 machine. Dyer over the curbs there, trying to stay out of the way as he gets put a lap down. On board with Jeff Evans at Tower. Oh my goodness! Oh, just waiting for the thump, and eventually a spin and a half later it does materialise. So Evans in the barriers, and I think he'll probably call it a day there, giving the team something to do before race 2. Well, this battle continues. Giles Cooper in the middle of it, right behind him 45, returning to his car is Simon Harris. Steve Hyde goes down the inside of him. Harris has missed several races. Julian Locke, the team mechanic, has been substituting for him while he's been unfit. Now Simon Harris back at the wheel. What a place to return to. Castle Combe really is a very, very busy racetrack indeed for these TVRs. You can see the driver's right hand on the wheel there from the camera position. What you can't see is that the left hand is barely ever on the wheel. It's almost always on the gear lever, changing up or down a gearbox. Well, Martin Short now running away from this battle like Mike Jordan has run away from it. He's managed to break free. Steve Sutcliffe leading the one car of Phil Hindley. The yellow nose on the blue car, that is 99, John Kent. And right behind them, Michael Caine, who started on the outside of row 1 on the grid. Well, this battle now as tyres and brakes get worn. Little push there from Phil Hindley. Slide for Sutcliffe and a big slide for Hindley as he gets the power down nice and early. Oh my goodness! Made contact with John Kent. He's gone right across his nose, slammed into the barriers. He's racing on. Well, yellow flags are out. No, he's not racing on, surely. No, I think it was just momentum that carried him on. Phil Hindley stopping before he gets onto the track. And it looks as though his steering might have been broken there. So Phil Hindley out of that battle. Steve Hyde coming down to the chicane behind Ashley Ward, and Ward's got it all wrong. Goes over onto the grass on the inside. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Hits the tyres as well. Spun himself out there. Oh, pay attention, Ashley, when you're rejoining and there's a big group of cars behind you. Yes, thank you very much. Oh dear. Well, he's adding insult to injury there, really compounding his problems by getting away with not quite enough observation and a little too much in the way of throttle. Replay here of a bizarre incident at Old Paddock. Phil Dyer spins out, but trying to avoid him and therefore having to really do some grass cutting there. Lucky to avoid the narrowing gap between Dyer and the tyres. Checkered flag awaits. Mike Jordan from pole position wins the first race at Castle Combe at a race meeting sponsored by his personal sponsors. And so victory for him. He will be delighted. So too will be the sponsors. Third place behind Martin Short, Steve Sutcliffe at the line by a fraction of a second from Michael Caine. But it's smiles all round for Mike Jordan. Jordan the victor then, and after that start line incident, Eugene O'Brien claiming a narrow 6th place. Mike Jordan, the winner of the first race of round 7 of the TVR Tuscan Challenge at Castle Combe, takes pole position for race 2. The rest of the field line up as they finished, which means Martin Short in 2nd place and Steve Sutcliffe in 3rd, except Jamie Campbell-Walter joins the field in 4th place. He got points for 4th place in race 1, even though he didn't start it. They had one car too many, and he was the man whose name was drawn out of the hat to take a bye. Don't worry too much about the smoke coming out from under the engine bay. Jamie can do that all by himself. So he'll start in 4th place, and looking forward to getting into action here. Just hoping that they've slightly spilled a little bit of oil on the engine as opposed to the fact that it might be about to catch fire. Good healthy crowd, fine conditions, and 38 cars on the grid for the start of race 2 of round 7. Somebody creeping on the outside. That was the white car, 87, James Patterson. He got away, so did everybody else. And Martin Short, best start of all again. This time from the outside of row 1 rather than from 3rd place on the grid. Jumps Mike Jordan. Jordan really has got to get this starting business sorted out. No point qualifying on pole if you drop down the order as soon as the green lights come on. Sutcliffe in 3rd, Campbell-Walter in 4th as the field spreads out here. Phil Hindley there, retired a lap from the end of race 1, so he's starting right down the order. That should be good for fun. Jeff Evans also spun out of the race, so he's further down the order as well this time. Chasing the number 12 machine of John Ravenscroft, goes past him. John Hutchinson in 42 runs wide as well, so he picks up 2 places there at chicane. That's not bad indeed for your first run through. Short, Jordan, Sutcliffe, Campbell-Walter, there's the top 4. Troy Dunlop in 5th place with Michael Caine right behind him in 6th position. Then the yellow and red machine is Eugene O'Brien in 7th. Steve Cole behind him in 8th, the white car of Patterson in 9th as Martin Short holds on to his lead through Camp Corner, but not by much. Well, that is coming onto the start-finish straight, and that is where Mike Jordan's sponsors' guests will be. Watching the action, Jordan determined now to win this one as well. Goes to the inside at Avon Rise, doesn't work. Martin Short really defending hard, and you can tell that because everybody's bunched right up behind him. Sutcliffe 3rd, Campbell-Walter comes alongside. Side by side they come. Campbell-Walter's on the inside, but can he outbrake Sutcliffe? He can't really. Yes, he can. Mike Jordan just far enough ahead. Looking back now, Jordan 2nd, Campbell-Walter lights ablaze in 3rd place. Oh, and it looks like a little fractional gear change mistake there by Martin Short. That's all the chance that Mike Jordan needs through Hammerdown and into Tower. He goes down the inside, very close. Martin Short fighting him off and determined to keep the door shut on Jamie Campbell-Walter behind. Jordan trailing smoke as he locks a brake, braking desperately late into Bobby's chicane. Martin Short 2nd, Campbell-Walter 3rd, Sutcliffe in 4th place. And that quartet now starting to ease away a little bit from the rest of the grid. Jordan Short, Campbell-Walter, Caine in 5th place there. then Troy Dunlop, Eugene O'Brien, and side by side, Richard Finney goes through on the inside of Steve Cole. Cole onto the grass, and that is problems for him because John Kent comes past him now. 19, Grant Tromans is next up. Tim Hood right behind him, looking to make a move. Didn't happen. With Steve Hyde right behind that battle, there is Hood. Ian McKellar going around the outside ahead of us here. He's on the outside of Tromans. We cut back to the inside, trying to get past Tim Hood. Oh, big slide. There's contact there, certainly. There is Tim Hood now. Pops out to defend as we go into the chicane at the S's. Well, here comes this fraught battle. There is the checkered noseband of Ian McKellar. Worked his way through them in fairly short order, didn't he? With Jeff Evans, Giles Cooper to our right there, side by side through the chicane. Oh, Giles Cooper picks up the position. And a lot of brake locking going on right ahead. Now Jeff Evans gets the power on through the long left-hand sweeper, hammer down into Tower Corner. Goes for the inside manoeuvre under braking, and he gets the place. Jeff Evans working his way up the order after problems in race one. Mike Jordan leading, Martin Short right behind him. These two not giving up the battle for the lead. Third place, Steve Sutcliffe, Michael Caine in fourth, Jamie Campbell-Walter in fifth place in the Black Machine. And, oh my goodness me, Eugene O'Brien loses a spot there. John Kent comes flying by him through the chicane. Absolutely shot past. This is Eugene O'Brien's first race in the TVR Tuscans. Raced in touring cars, saloon cars, single-seaters of all makes and descriptions, sports racers. Very few of the British categories that Eugene O'Brien hasn't raced in at one time or another. Ian McKellar goes past him to pick up a place, and Michael Caine goes past Steve Sutcliffe as well. Caine up into third, Sutcliffe fourth, Jamie Campbell-Walter in fifth place. Campbell-Walter slingshots around to the outside, and Peter Wheeler takes to the grass, gets it wrong at the chicane. And, yeah, very careful to have a quick look before he rejoins.